Alright, welcome to the sociological considerations part of the preliminary industry study for the timber products and furniture industry. So to get started, we need to start thinking about issues relating to businesses, workplace cultures, and the role of businesses in our industry, and then describe how businesses impact on our industry. Okay, so that's what we're actually working towards in this section. What are sociological issues? Look, sociology itself is the study of society, patterns of social behaviours, relationships, interactions, and culture. So when we're talking about sociological issues in the industry study, we're looking at how the business impacts on the society, the peoples, and the culture in which those businesses are set up. So let's look at the culture inside of a business, workplace culture. Workplace culture is sort of how well people get along at work. And if we talk about two main extremes, positive workplace cultures and negative workplace cultures, they are at very opposite ends of the scale, and I could describe one and it would help to describe the other. In a positive workplace, people love coming to work. That's the most important thing that you need to get. They like coming to work because they feel valued. As a result of them feeling valued and enjoying coming to work, they end up being more productive, which means they're more efficient. They're also less likely to be injured, which means you can save money on a business on your insurance premiums because you have less injuries in the workplace. They're also less likely to call in sick for work. They're more likely to stay at your company for many, many years instead of changing jobs every year. And the customer service they provide is going to be better, and the public is going to see your business as a place that they would want to work, that they like doing business with. It takes a long period of time to get a positive workplace culture, and businesses actually invest quite a lot of money and time into workplace cultures. And there's some really simple examples of things that people do, but like barbecues, quite often in timber product and furniture industries, companies like Coopers, for example, Friday afternoon after work, they might finish a little bit early and they might have a barbecue at the end of the day and celebrate a great week. Those small things doesn't cost too much as a business, but helps to build workplace culture. It could be updating facilities around the place, particularly in things like lunchrooms, where staff go to have their tea and coffee breaks, making sure that it's not dirty, it's not filthy, they don't hate going there, and they're enjoying coming to work. In bigger companies, it's pretty common at the moment have a gym on site, or even to partner up with a gym to get discounted memberships. Could be handing out shopping vouchers or gift cards every now and then, just randomly to thank workers for the good jobs that they're doing. But it's all about the company showing the employees that they appreciate the work that they do. If I was then to describe negative workplace cultures, I could just go down the list and change it. You're less productive, less efficient. You're more likely to have workplace accidents and injuries, which means it costs your business more. You're more likely to have people call in sick, and you're more likely to have to keep hiring and training new employees because they're constantly leaving their jobs. Okay? So positives and negatives, they're direct opposites here, and it takes a long time to change a negative workplace culture. If we've got a new business that's opened in the suburb, okay, so let's say we've got Coopers Furniture, a Caringbah, they've decided to open in Leppington. We spoke about this very briefly in our last set of slides. What are the impacts that they have on that community? Firstly, Leppington, they're then looking for people to work there, so they've created jobs for people that live in that area. That's a benefit. They might be working in an area that was previously farmland, and so in developing this new factory, there are some infrastructure upgrades that are happening. So they might be developing roads, bridges, etc. That increases the infrastructure in the community, but again also creates jobs because someone has to build those roads, build those bridges, etc. They also are bringing customers into the area. So if you've got a whole heap of factories or furniture companies all together in like a little super centre, then that's bringing customers together, which brings money back into the local community. It increases the community morale because people are employed, they're not just sitting around, they're not falling below the poverty line and having all of the sociological issues associated with being in the poverty. We're increasing pollution though. We have to be realistic that the amount of pollution in those areas will increase. Think about all of those local farms that used to be nice, clear, fresh air, and now have brake dust all over the fences and things like that. Increases potential asthma from dusts, can result in long-term issues if it's not managed correctly, or if there's breaches in the Environmental Protection Agency's requirements for controlling noise and air pollution. It can also damage ecosystems. So spillages from factories into local waterways can cause all sorts of issues with the aquatic life, can also damage the flora, fauna, those sorts of things. You then are bringing trucks in the community to get your supplies in. So like when your timber delivery comes, there's noise coming from the trucks, noise coming from the factory production. So there are some negatives coming in as well. If you wanted to look at a current and local example, have a look at the Moorebank Intermodal Terminal, which is south of the Liverpool CBD, to have a look at some of the impacts there. Having lived in the Moorebank area previously, I can tell you the number of trucks going in was enormous. It changed the traffic, which meant I had to leave for work earlier to get to work on time. It changed the pollution. I know that some of the bird species have been displaced. Okay? I know that if we looked at another example, we look at the Badgerys Creek Airport update. Speaking to students that live in those sorts of areas, they have kangaroos in their front yards now because they've been pushed out of the areas they previously used to have as their habitat. Okay, so sociological issues, all of the impacts to society as a result of the industry. You can see here two different questions as the end of the sociological section ties in really well to environmental. Again, go back to that question we talked about, the viability of the company if it was to move, but also what would happen if the business decided to relocate? What are the considerations that the management might need to have? Pick one of those questions, shoot me the response, happy to give you some feedback, and I look forward to seeing you on our next slides for personnel issues. Thanks.